When I first got into FPV, I thought it was going to be pretty easy because I've flown drones before, and I thought it was going to be something similar to that. Well, that's not exactly how it went. After several crashes and repairing my drone, I finally learned from my mistakes, and hopefully I can share those mistakes with you guys, and so you can hopefully improve and learn faster. The first thing, which wasn't a mistake, but I kind of knew it beforehand, it was to learn on a simulator first. Now the reason why you want to do a simulator is so then you can get all those first crashes digitally, instead of going and picking up the pieces of your drone and then taking it back home and repairing it. I would recommend at least 10 hours for your first hours in the simulator. I know it's really hard to have your drone fully built and you're ready to fly, but that's a really big mistake that you could make instead of just avoiding it by doing a couple hours in the simulator. Now the next thing is to know what type of system you want beforehand, because there's a lot of drones out there, so you're trying to figure out which types. You want to take into account what type of batteries does it use and what type of video transmission system does it use. Those are probably the two biggest points. For me, I chose 6S first, and now I have a 4S also. Like, for example, 6S is a little bit faster, but 4S is a little bit more popular, so there's more parts for 4S. And then you also have like your video transmission system, which is analog or digital. And for me, I had analog in the beginning, and now I switched over to digital because digital fit my needs. And going off of that now, I would have just gone straight into digital first thing. It would have saved a lot more money, and I just don't use analog that much anymore because analog is usually made for very, very long range drone flyer, or if you're doing some racing and stuff similar to that. But for me, I'm doing more cinematic flying and a lot more freestyle, so just digital fit my needs. Now a third thing, on top of finding out what video transmission systems and what batteries you want to figure out what type of drone there is. So drones come in different sizes and shapes, and they look different because you have your racer drones, you have your freestyle, and you have your cinematic. I personally have cinematic and freestyle drones because I haven't gotten into racing that much. But freestyle is where you're doing tricks and you're going through tighter obstacles. It's really fun to do. I love it. And then you have your cinematic flying, which is usually more for a Cinewhoop, but you can also use a freestyle drone for that. It's more of a slower and smoother flying, and you can show off some awesome locations. And then you can also go inside with a Cinewhoop and fly near people. You just have to have the experience, be careful. But it's really cool to show off all these things with different types of drones. And now what the differences are from these drones, because they look different. A racer is usually more in an X shape, and it will be kind of less weight and it will be more aerodynamic. So it's better for going really fast at really high speeds. And a freestyle is usually either a 5-inch or anywhere around there. It's really good for going in tight gaps, but it's also really good for aerodynamics, and it's really good for flying and not getting caught in the wind as easily. And then the third one is a Cinewhoop, and that will have usually ducks on it. What those do is you can fly inside and not destroy things if you hit a wall or if you get near a person, so then you're not going to chop stuff up and just totally destroy it. After you've trained in the simulator and you have all your parts ready and you're ready to go out and fly, you want to make sure that you want to fly carefully your first couple of flights, get a feel for how the drone works, and then slowly build up your tricks. And at a point, once you start getting the hang of things, you'll see that you'll start to slow your progress down. Well, one reason is you might be scared of crashing. I know it's not fun to crash your drone at all, but it might help you learn. I know that sounds a little strange, but you might be hindering your progress by realizing, oh, I'm not going to do this trick because I think I might crash it. Now, if it's something crazy like, oh, I want to dive through here, and you know you don't have the experience to do that yet, then yeah, I probably wouldn't recommend doing it. But if you know, oh, I might be able to do it, and it's a simple like power loop over a bridge, I would go through and hopefully try to do it. And if you crash it, you're probably only going to break propellers. For me, I've crashed my drone 50 feet in the air down into a tree, and it only broke 2 propellers. That's about $3. That's not a whole lot. And you don't want that to hinder your progress and stop you from improving. Now, I also have a couple other videos explaining on what system, if you're still trying to decide, analog versus digital and 6S versus 4S, if you want to check those out. I hope this helped. I'm Zane Shaw. Keep flying.